Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Try F Podcast, where we try not to F the podcast up. So, are we ready to kick off our first topic?
Let's start.
Okay, so topic number one.
I'm ready.
Let me get the article pulled up here. All right. We have a new pope. Robert Prevost of the United States is named Pope Leo the 14th. That's a lot of popes.
Do you mean Prevost or?
I don't care.
Prevost.
Prevoscus. That's not right.
The Pope.
The Pope. That's probably what we'll end up doing. My box is out of center. Excuse me, gentlemen. I'm going to recenter my line.
That's what she said.
Shush.
Wow.
So,
So
anybody have any thoughts about the Pope while I fix the article?
Isn't he American?
He is American. That is
How
the
did
one thing
that
I was able to
happen?
read. The liberals are taking over the world.
So he's a liberal Pope?
Well, no, it gets even better. I think this article might bring it up, but he's not liberal, Trevor. He's moderate, which means he's liberal. So
It means he's wish-washy.
which means he's wishy-washy, yeah.
So he's liberal in moderation.
Yeah. I did hear one interesting factoid about the Pope. So they all rename themselves,
Yeah, why is that?
right? When I don't know why, but no Pope has named themselves Peter because Peter was the first one. And out of respect for him, none of them have renamed themselves that, which is interesting.
That is interesting. I didn't know that. Now, see, I thought Pope Francis was supposed to be the last pope, according to Nostradamus. I've been looking up on the internet, though, that apparently that's not correct. Apparently, it's supposed to be this pope. So, if Nostradamus, according to the internet, is correct, this guy's the last guy. So we're down to one more pope before the end of the world.
Man, that's weird. There's a lot of there's the, like you say, Nostradamus. That's like a long-term prophecy or whatever.
Yeah.
There's another one of those that says Trump will be the last president. So what's going to happen after this? Where you
It all blows up.
coming up on something big here,
Mad Max Thunderdome.
right?
So, I don't know, man. It is a strange time to be alive. But,
Yeah, a lot of prophecies coming to a head here.
Yeah. All right, well, let's read this article here, see if we can find anything new. Cardinal Robert Prevost has taken the name Leo the 14th. The Chicago-born missionary who spent his career ministering in Peru and took over the Vatican's powerful office of bishops was elected the first pope from the United States in a 2,000-year history of the Catholic Church. I'm not sure why you would emphasize the 2,000-year history, because America's only been around for like 250, but okay.
Well, the Catholic Church has been around longer than that.
I know, yeah. They claim they've been. It's a theological thing. I think the Orthodox might take issue with that. But anyhow, so in his first words as Pope Francis's successor, uttered from the Loggia of St. Peter's Basilica, Leo 69 said, "Peace be with you." That sounds like something a pope would say, and emphasized a message of peace, dialogue, and missionary evangelism. He wore the traditional red cape of the papacy, a cape that Francis had eschewed on his election in 2013. He spoke to the crowd in Italian and Spanish, but not English.
What does
I guess we're supposed to be offended by that?
Oh.
Rejected. Eschewed means rejected. So Pope Francis didn't wear the big hat. Probably because he knew all us millennials would call him the guy in the funny hat. So, anyway.
Well,
so he
they've been
wore like a
called
small
that
hat.
for a long time, right?
Huh?
They've been called that for a long time, right?
I think. I don't know.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah, so in other words, he was a pope. He did pope stuff. So,
He's perpendicular.
okay, let's see. He's perpendicular. The new Canadian Prime Minister Carney, a practicing Catholic, and a member of the World Economic Forum, so I'm sure he's super devout, called the Pope's election a historic day for Catholics and all who look to the Vatican for guidance, which was a resounding nobody. At the time of global challenges, may his pontificate carry forward a mission of solidarity, compassion, and dignity for all, Carney said in a post on social media.
What is pontificate?
I think it's just another word for like the papal office. Like it's like a title for the Pope.
So why not say that?
Because he wanted to sound Catholic.
What a Catholic priest.
Remember, he's actually a World Economic Forum guy, so he's like, okay, what do Catholics say? Give me like a Catholic thesaurus. Yeah, pontificate. I hope it's pontificate. Pontificates at the Vatican.
Refers specifically to the Pope. I don't know what it means.
Well, it just sounds like you're trying to go to the bathroom or something.
Yeah, it's remarkable. Well, anyway, I'm not going to go there. Bottom line is this guy probably isn't Catholic, but he wants you to think he is, so he used a Catholic word. Anyway.
Right.
So, professor of canon law sees continuity with Francis. I'm not sure why that matters, but let's see. Kurt Martins, who teaches at the Catholic University of America in Washington, said Robert Prevost's choice of the name Leo XIV, referencing 13th, and his foundational and clinical on... I don't know what that word is.
Encyclica.
Yeah, I don't know. That word on social training.
Bicyclical?
Encyclical. Yeah, that's probably it. Encyclical.
Well done.
And his foundational encyclical on social teaching suggests continuity with the church's direction under Pope Francis. In other words, he's going to be a bleeding liberal. So, you poor Catholics.
He's going to pontificate so hard.
You know, if the trend continues with these popes, the Catholic Church is going to be worshiping Gaia before the end of the decade. I don't know what they're going to do. So,
Gaia Online.
They already have demonic statues in the Vatican.
I don't know. Maybe yeah.
No, they do.
Are you talking about gargoyles or like what are you referencing specifically?
There's literally like a temple to Mammon inside the Vatican. It's got like a giant thing. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, look that up. That's crazy. That would be. I mean, nothing would surprise me because I'm a millennial, but you know.
Let's see if I can fix my screen.
Okay.
Here.
While you're doing that, I'll keep reading. Martin said references in Leo the 14th speech to embracing the whole world, as well as synodality, are more signs that the new pope will continue to focus on the poor and those on the margins of society.
He won.
Yeah,
Good job.
I think, anyway. Okay, leaders of African countries congratulate the Pope.
Wait, pause.
All right.
So they don't like vote or anything like that?
I think the Vatican or there's a council. I don't have any idea how this process works. I mean, I should because my wife was Catholic.
It's like all the bishops.
I have no clue how it works.
Is she on here?
Jess, well, she's raising. She's probably dealing with Demi because I hear Demi screaming upstairs. So this probably isn't a good time.
That's fine.
But yeah, I don't know any more particular. I don't really know the particulars. I do know that there was white smoke, and so we can look at that for a second.
I love watching white smoke.
Yeah.
This is an ABC News special report. Now reporting, David Muir.
David Mueller.
Sorry, I gotta fix my boxes again. My boxes aren't cooperating tonight.
Mueller.
Bowler.
Yeah,
Meower.
my computer's so slow.
My computer, is it still lagging? Because I turned the Photoshop.
my computer.
Oh, okay. I was like, it better not be lagging. I turned the Photoshop off.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cody is lagging just a hair.
And I'm on Yandex. I can't read Russian.
Ah, well, that is a problem.
It's not helping.
All right, so here's the ABC report.
Good afternoon, live from the Vatican. We're coming back on the air because there is smoke again coming from the chimney. Let's go right to the live picture. The swell of applause from the square right here, St. Peter's Square, obviously. And you can see right there, it would appear to be a white smoke, which would be an extraordinary development here in Vatican City. We have given
They
the smoke
lit a
some
fire.
time over the last
Well done.
couple of smoke signals because often it can change in color. But as you
See, this is why I'm a Baptist. Because our Baptists never get this excited about preachers. Nobody would ever jump up and down when we picked a new preacher. It was like, oh, well, you know, he better get that
almost
carpet
like-
fixed.
It's like, almost like the Pope is the new American Idol.
Yeah, it is kind of like the American Idol for them. Like we Baptists are blessed with a contempt for our leadership. You know, so we sit there and go, okay, buddy, you got 5 years, and you better get a lot of stuff done before we get tired of you and kick you out so we can find another guy. Like,
Sometimes it's 5 days.
Like one preacher I had, John Duncan, he was around for like 18 years.
What's up, Mushroom? Mushroom said it's the remnants of Rome. Imagine a coronation of an emperor.
That's a good point, actually, yeah.
I
So
like
maybe
that.
that's what it is. Maybe it's a tradition of celebrating the emperor. I don't get it, though, but that's because I'm very proud of our contempt for authority. It's like we always ran the preachers off before they could suck too much money out of the altar or something. But I mean, obviously most of the preachers were good, but every once in a while you had the guy that would just be looking for an easy paycheck. So everybody was always skeptical.
Like me.
Yeah.
I'm a horrible researcher.
Protestants are blessed with skepticism. I don't ever see us getting into a place where we're that excited about a leader.
What are you trying to research?
Did you find your demonic statue
I
or
was trying to
whatever,
find
Cody?
it. No, I was trying to. Yeah, no, it's like a. I've thought like everybody had seen it. Have you seen it? The Devil Temple inside the Vatican.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Callie's seen it.
Vatican.
I can't find a picture of it. My computer's too slow.
And
Google's been on par with its censorship lately. It took me
That's it.
yeah, it took me an hour to find the videos I was looking for. So yeah, it is on point with its communism. All right, let me see
That
if there's
Russian
anything-
browser works really good, but it's my computer's just too slow.
Ah,
is it like is it called the Sculpture of the Resurrection or something like that?
I don't know. Resurrection doesn't sound very demonic.
okay. I'm not
It's-
seeing anything else interesting with this. It's white smoke. It was white. That means they found one.
What do they
And-
burn when they
and there
burn
was
black
one-
smoke? They got like pieces of tire in there that they set on fire.
That doesn't sound very ritualistic, Cody. I don't know. Goodness.
I mean, you got to be burning oil if it's black
Yeah.
smoke.
Yeah, we
He's
need a Catholic
burning
on here for a
oil.
Catholic perspective because I'm just like, I am
Yeah.
so Protestant. I'm like, okay, I mean, I don't know anything about this, so,
Yeah.
you know, good luck. I guess we're happy for you. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I don't need a pope to mediate for me.
Yeah, there's a whole theological
Amen.
discussion, you know, middlemen and the Almighty. But anyway,
Yeah.
not everybody was happy about the Pope,
Pope's
clearly.
audience call that you're talking about.
There you go, Gary.
What? What'd you find?
Oh,
The Pope's audience.
Cody's demonic statue thing.
Oh, you found it. Oh, gosh.
Audio
Trevor,
call?
you are so good. All right, hang on. Let me look this up.
audience call.
Oh, I sent the actual link there. That's why it's so long.
Audience hall.
Yeah, that's where this is.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
audience hall.
Yeah.
So that may be the wrong
Oh
one.
yeah, the whole thing looks like a big snake. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
Oh
that's the
my-
Pope's audience hall.
Yeah, the Pope's audience hall looks like a big snake.
Did I
Hang on a
share the
minute.
right one then? I don't think I shared the right one.
Over the Pope's shoulder. It's this.
All right, this is what Trevor pulled up.
That's
I
crazy.
can't really zoom into it because I don't know.
So,
It's
Yeah,
just
if you-
it's the search. It's not
very-
an actual.
Is it the
Strange.
sculpture of the resurrection? Why is the Vatican artwork so creepy? Yeah, that looks
What
like
it-
a freaking demonic goat thing. Look at that.
It does.
See
It
this?
does.
Little, like a goat within a goat within a goat. Actually, it's frighteningly reminiscent of that. I'm gonna pull it up. That King Charles painting where he took a picture of himself with the little red background and the devil suit. All right,
Look up
so let me see
the
if-
audience hall.
the audience hall. Okay. Hang on a
The
minute.
Pope's audience hall.
Pope's audience hall.
Audience.
Yes, Yes. I see
Or
pictures
the
of it.
hall
There.
of the typical audiences.
Oh,
Yeah, so the whole thing's a big snake head.
holy crap.
I like it. It's
Dude,
so
it looks like
creepy. I
something
like
out
it.
of Doom.
Yeah.
Or
Holy
Doomsday.
crap.
It's like it's straight off of that movie, Legion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Catholics. That's
Catholics
called a
are crazy.
hint. Good night. Yeah, good luck with the other guy that's just like Francis, according to that article. All right, let me compare this to the King Charles painting
Okay.
and see if you guys see the similarities.
Thank you for all that, babe.
That was awesome, yeah. And freaky and depressing.
Whoa. What's going on there?
Oh, I remember this.
Show
remember when
me
this
a
came out.
close-up picture, you goobers. Good.
King Charles is a weirdo, man.
Well, yeah, he wants to kill the world, so people just
Wow.
look at that. And if you zoom in, which I cannot do, it's filled with like little devil horns and stuff. So let me
Really?
Yeah.
It's like a montage of
it's
smaller pictures.
It's a collage of demons.
Wow.
Yeah, hey, check this out. Let me get back here. And
So he
look
did
up
that on
close up.
purpose.
Yes, he did. Actually, what it is, it's like a kaleidoscope effect. So if you put the two pictures together, you get this. Like if you flip them upside down and put them side by side, you get Baphomet.
Oh, and that's creepy. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, if you hold control and zoom in on your wheel, on your mouse wheel, it should there you
Yeah, there you go. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that just what you want? These are the people that rule the world, guys. Look
They
at
don't
that.
rule the
That is a
world.
flippin' face. Well, they're really, you're right. They're really just a bunch of pot-bellied pagans with too much time on their hands, but
go. Its
still.
mouth looks like the Batman symbol. I'm Batman.
I am Batman from hell. But anyway,
Yeah. It's
So-
like faces and faces and faces.
yeah, exactly.
This is the kind of
It's so
stuff you see
creepy.
when you do mushrooms.
Yeah. So the guy who painted King Charles'
Oh,
painting
there's
was
another
obviously on
face.
shrooms.
At the
So
very top there, it looks like an owl almost.
really, where?
Well, you got the two eyes.
Yeah, you got the eyes,
No, up higher.
and then you got the horns.
No.
No.
Unimagine the horns for a second,
Okay.
and then go up with your mouse. Nope. Too far. Oh.
I go up or down.
So go back where you had it on the horns.
All right.
Now, you had it, and then you moved down. So don't scroll. Move your little mouse over. Okay,
This is like staring
there.
at clouds and figuring out what we see.
Okay, right here. Okay.
you're in the center.
Yes.
Move over a little bit.
Left or right?
Oh yeah, I see that.
Either or.
Oh, okay. I kind of see it.
You see the owl?
Yeah, kind of.
So your mouse is on the beak right now, and you got the two eyes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see.
And then
Yeah,
if you scroll down, then there's another face,
Yeah.
and that's the one we originally saw.
Yeah. So it's just demons within demons within
Demons upon demons upon
yeah,
demons.
Yeah. So let's
All right.
take a look at the
Cool.
Catholic
We're all
thing here. Let
Constantine.
me see. Let's see if I can do the zoom thing that you want me to do here. Ah! There we go. So,
I messed it up. Sorry.
dude, what were they thinking? That is literally skulls reaching up to a demon in hell. Look at that crap.
Pretty much. Yeah, it looks
Reminds
straight
me-
off.
Why?
Straight out of what's the
Constantine?
now? What's that book? The seven levels of hell and 7 levels of heaven.
Dante's Inferno.
Dante's
Oh.
Inferno.
Yeah. I need to read that or something.
Yeah, guys, that is not subtle.
It reminds me of
Not subtle. That's a perfect way to put it.
a mermaid. Merman.
Good night. Well, on that cheerful note, let's go back to what they think somebody on Alex Jones or Band.video thought the Catholic Church is really doing. All right, here we go.
They were banning
The new
themselves.
American Pope. Who is he? In the child abuse scandal. So I'm assuming he was connected to the child abuse scandal, but I don't know. We're gonna watch the video and find out.
Let's find out.
There's a lot of amazing T-shirt designs.
First, we
out
have to
there,
watch an
but
ad.
this is an art masterpiece. And boy, does it set
Oh, I
the
was about to
example.
ask, what does chainsaws have to
American
do with it?
patriot.
Rum Rum USA. Rum Rum USA. So,
Rum,
okay.
rum. I'm a lumberjack.
And a new pope has been named, the first American pope, Pope Leo the 14th. Now, this was announced today, and I find it very interesting because the first thing that comes to mind is, who is this pope? What are his relations to politics, which I find silly in general, which side of the evil demonic paradigm he's part of, but there's that, and something much more important, how does he relate to child sex abuse, and where was he on injections, and where is he overall in general in the order here, which they are creating worldwide. So we're going to go into who this guy is, originally named Robert Francis Prevost. Now he's part French, Italian, and Spanish, but he's from Chicago, and of course now is the head of the Holy See. We're going to go into this and more today, my friends, and what this means. But before we do, I urge you to check those links below. If you can help support us, we truly appreciate it. We have gogetfunding.com. Thank you so much to all those who've helped support us recently since we went bankrupt and then lost 90% of the revenue on top of being bankrupt. You guys have kept us up and running, and we could not thank you enough. Your support keeps independent media alive. And in a way, that's not just, mainstream media versus alternative media, but there's mainstream alternative media as well, and we are breaking outside of it, and which is why we are constantly ridiculed and attacked from all angles. But you guys like to be consistent, you guys like the truth, and we will demand it all the time. So we appreciate it. GoGetFunding.com. We have Patreon. We have Subscribestar. We have a PayPal address, ancientwonderstelevision@gmail.com. And we have a Bitcoin address, which you can scan on the screen to donate here or through the...
To be fair, I was told that thing was the mark of the beast at one point.
Oh, me too.
I think everything's been
Bitcoin?
called the mark of the beast at some point or another. But yes, at one point, this was a 666. I'm not sure
any
how.
new technology, somebody's going to call it the mark of the beast.
Yeah. All right. But hey, we're using his content, so we'll let him do his ad. It's only fair.
Description, and make sure to go and subscribe. To us on Rumble or BitChute at World Alternative Media. We need your help because on some websites, band.video, our views aren't even being counted. And no matter how many IP addresses and devices you open, they're just not being counted while others are. So we need the help.
Crazy.
Any help we can get. Your support does not go unnoticed, so thank you. Let's get into this. So, and hit that like button because it helps us in the algorithm. Let's get into this. This is out of Zero Hedge. American Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost announced as new pope. Now, the first thing that comes to a lot of people's mind is always, okay, what are the politics of him? The politics is an absurd thing to base the Pope on, first of all. I'm of the belief that we've seen nothing but black popes for a very, very, very long time. And this ritualistic, demonic cult entity that they've created around the Vatican, which Vaticano, the den of snakes, the den of vipers, which...
See, I would have laughed at that like 30 seconds ago. But just for emphasis...
He's speaking truth.
Den of vipers. I mean, I would have laughed, but I don't know what else you would call that.
You saw the other picture, right? Where the whole room looks like a snake head?
Are there more snake? Is there another picture? Like, is it this from a different angle, or is it?
No,
more
it's
crap?
a different room. It's like a where you deliver sermons, but the whole thing looks like a snake head.
Okay, Catholics, do you really think Peter would be happy about this?
I don't think so.
Good night. Okay, yeah, so I think the Den of Vipers thing is pretty well justified now.
Yeah. I mean,
all right.
they went pretty literal with it, didn't they?
Yeah, just a little on the nose. Just a little. Goodness. Okay. All right, back to this fella.
Started off as a Jewish ghetto a long time ago. And, of course, was propped up by
Jewish
Caligula.
Did he say the Vatican was a Jewish
And
ghetto?
at that time was very popular before he had...
I was still caught up on the
raping
snakes,
his sister,
so I didn't
killing
hear
people.
him.
But,
Yeah,
of
he
course,
said something about a
most
Jewish
notably, Saint Peter's Square, where Saint Peter was crucified upside down, which is often mixed up. Okay, why is the cross upside down? That is true in some degree outside of Catholicism, that there is some strange stuff to that. But the reason the cross is upside down in Catholicism a lot of the time is due to the idea of the Pope being crucified upside down, because he said he was not as good as Jesus. So therefore, he wanted to show that he would suffer further because he did not deserve the same death as Jesus. That's a claim anyway. Okay, so that needs to be put aside. There's a lot of symbolism, though, at the Vatican. I've spent a lot of time at the Vatican. There's countless people that have gone missing, mostly children there. A lot of people, there's been bodies and bones found under the Vatican of children. And of course, there are huge underground tunnels. There's a museum that doesn't barely mention Christianity at all and just shows Medusa's head everywhere. I've been there. I've done documentaries on it, which you could find on...
Is that creepy woman supposed to be Medusa? You think that's what?
Which one?
The one we've
She's cool.
been looking at for like 3 times.
Oh, no.
No, you don't think that's Medusa? Hang on a minute. Hang on.
Not
Let's
even
see if I can zoom on the
close.
head. Stop showing me the headline. Ah. No, it ain't gonna let me do it. Let me zoom.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
No, it's as good.
Hit
as
the close the cookies button.
Close the cookies.
It's
Hang
like
on.
Lucifer.
That's as close as you can get.
Why are these demons always androgynous? I can't even tell what that's
Right.
supposed to
It's
be.
androgynous.
Yeah.
It's like, so it has to be like an angel or something.
I guess. A very fallen angel. I mean, guys, the wings are burned to a crisp.
The wings are burnt. Yeah.
I'd say the
Good
wings are
night.
his legs.
Yeah, his wings are burned to a crisp, and he's grafted to whatever this is. Snakes or skulls or driftwood from the
tree?
flood. I don't know.
Ooh, actually, what's the underwater stuff? What's that called?
Coral reef.
Yeah. It's like a whole coral
Yeah.
reef stuff.
It kind of reminds me of like mycelium.
Yeah.
You know how like everything in nature is connected, so like mycelium, like the trees communicate through mycelium, which is a fungus, right? And this thing
roots
kind of
and
looks
stuff.
like mycelium, so it's like it's of the earth, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was some pretentious artist who had a hidden meaning and thought ambiguity was creativity. But
Yeah.
anyway.
That's creepy.
Just as another little thing that annoys me. Why is this guy carrying a freaking spear? It's 2025. I mean,
In case he used to spear
rifles
somebody, bro.
well, rifles can be symbolic too. So
We don't want them rifling though.
silly. It's just silly. Anyway, all right. I keep
It's
interrupting.
probably some kind of Vaticanian laser gun that we don't have.
It's a secret spear
It's a
laser
plasma
gun.
weapon.
Secret spear laser gun.
That dude is a Jedi. It's like if Bobo the Clown became a Jedi.
Shoots
Okay.
out snake venom.
There we go. Yeah.
Catholicism
That's
are
the
now the
force.
new.
It's not that little element or thing you said a moment ago. That's what midichlorian looks like on the cellular level. So,
So the Pope is now the Sith Lord.
okay, that's Benedict, and I think he was one of the good ones, so I don't want to be too mean, but yes.
But
May the
I
force
think
be with us
Benedict. I
all.
think Benedict was supposed to be one of the good ones, though. To be fair, which is why he didn't last very long, from what I understand. But anyway,
That's what she said.
we're in the religious portion. Grow up.
calm down, Trevor.
Calm down, just calm down. Oh wait, we don't want to get hit for that. Sorry.
Oh yeah, we got murdered on that. Anyway, it was worth it though, cause it was
You're worth it.
Saturday.
I don't know. I think it's on my Josh Sigurdson YouTube channel. I don't know. Everything got taken down, and I don't know what's been backed up or not. Of course, if you look at Vatican on our account at Odyssey, on Odyssey at World Alternative Media, you could search the content that we've done before. If you type in Vatican, you'll find our previous documentaries on site at the Vatican. But look, there's a lot of evil that happens at the Vatican, and a lot of symbolism, and the pine cone symbolism, which you'll find everywhere, which is regarding consciousness and
Pine cones.
I don't get the pine cone reference.
It's a representation, like a closed pine cone. Looks a lot like your pineal gland. Pineal, pine cone.
Oh, so that's why he said it represents consciousness because it kind of looks like the pineal gland.
Yes.
So is a bell pepper symbolic of the heart?
It could be. I mean,
Yeah,
hot stuff is good for your heart because parasites don't like it. So,
I have heard that the shape of fruits are supposed to tell you what organ it's for.
yeah, I've heard
heard
that
that.
many times.
Okay. I don't know if that's true.
I think it is, personally.
I don't know.
I don't know the
have-
language. I mean, I can't like look at a fruit and be like, no, that's good for your liver, but I do think there is some validity to it.
Yeah, well, I have no reason not to believe it. Let's put it that way.
I mean, hey, let's just eat pine nuts for 5 days straight and see if we become, enlightened.
Well, if you start hallucinating, that means you're dying. All right. Okay, buddy. Oh, I will say this, though. I really wish these people would give examples because I keep hearing about tunnels and all these horrible things that are happening. But it's like, I have no idea how to
Secret
look into this
tunnels.
more because nobody's ever specific about what exactly is going on. So
Yeah.
there is that. But anyway, let's move on.
And of course,
It's been too long since we had a good Nicolas Cage flick where he
and the
breaks
Tree of
in
Life and all that.
to some
He
museum.
breaks into the Vatican and steals
That'd be
Medusa's
sweet.
wig.
Yes. Nicolas Cage breaks into the Vatican and steals Medusa's wig.
That
That's
would
the
be
next
good.
big movie.
Let's call him up.
Get on that, Paramount or whoever Cage works for. Now, that one's for free, but you just get one.
That was a freebie.
There's a lot going on there. And when someone gets elected the Pope, it's 2025. Do you expect them to elect some like based Pope who is against this, infiltration of Christianity and this cultural shift that's meant to push everyone towards evil? No, obviously they're not going to go with an anti-establishment figure. It's the Vatican. It's 2025. Let's be realistic, my friends. But nonetheless, there's a lot of claims around who this guy is, and people say, "Oh, well, look, he registered as a Republican. Oh, he's so based." I mean, seriously, I don't understand how people could possibly see this as being a possibility. So you could see Robert F. Prevost, Republican registration, August 15th of 2023. So this guy, who is apparently a moron, named Jack on X, new Pope is registered as a Republican. We are so back. Give me a fucking break. First of all,
We are
it's
so
part of
back.
Paradigm. Second of
You
all,
sweet summer
there
child.
is a lot
Back in
smacking
red.
back at this, and more importantly, how he regards abuse victims of the Catholic Church, the children that are molested, which we'll get into in a moment. But on the side of, is he a Republican or a Democrat? First of all, if he's a Republican, he's a very leftist Republican. He is big on mass migration. Look, I'm not a fan of. He said they say he criticized Trump and Vance on immigration. I have too, because I think that due process is important, and rounding people up for criticizing Israel and deporting them, and also just randomly deporting people who have tattoos that appear to be gang related and then throwing them in a prison in a country they're not even from is insane. Totally insane. But with that said, he seemed to have promoted this new pope.
Do we want to talk about the political stuff he just said? Because I don't really care to, but we can if you want.
I think it's insane, but I agree
Which
with him.
part? Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That you can't be anti-Semitic, like you go to jail for being
oh,
anti-Semitic.
yeah.
It's freaking crazy, dude.
Well, it's called a poison pill. It's just these jackwagon globalist Republicans trying to add in poison pills to get 5 people to agree with it, and then they'll chip away at the base. It's divide and conquer, because
Yeah.
that's absurd. Like,
Yeah.
there might be like 10 people in the country who believe that would be a good idea. But they put that stuff in there to try to like kill the momentum of the movement. They did the same
Dave
thing.
Portnoy being one of those 10 people.
Maybe, yeah. Well, they did the same thing with abortion, if you remember, back when Roe v. Wade was repealed and the abortion movement had some momentum. What did Lindsey Graham, a globalist Republican, do? He snuck in there with the, we should ban abortion on the federal level. And everybody had spent the last 6 months going, this is getting kicked back to the states, so let's let the states fight it for a while. But they jumped immediately into a federal abortion ban. Now, obviously, I hate abortion. I would love to see abortion, banned. But that was not what Roe v. Wade was. The repeal of Roe v. Wade was intended to do. And there was another statement being made: the Supreme Court does not have the ability to make law, and it never should have. And that was kind of the point. So, but Graham was doing that because they wanted to basically undermine the momentum of the MAGA right, because that was a big win, particularly during the Biden administration. So it's something disguised as a good idea, disguised as something that would, I guess, uphold conservative policies, but it's really meant to fracture people because it's such an extreme position, quote unquote extreme position. And it really wasn't what even the chief justices who repealed Roe v. Wade were talking about. It was a bad law because judges don't have the authority to create laws on the federal level like they did with Roe v. Wade. And that was, legally, that was why it was repealed. So anyway, it was one of those things where it's like, I personally would have loved it, but that's not why they were doing it. It was a divide and conquer thing. And it's the same deal. They put in some... Obviously, the majority of Republicans support Israel. And so they put in some extreme thing to try to rally a bunch of people from that side, but they know that a bunch of people aren't going to side with it because it's such a harsh stance and it goes against freedom of speech. And so they can divide the base.
Yeah.
It's just politics. It's the Republicans that are the bad actors, the rhinos, trying to divide the base.
Yeah.
Anyway, as for the immigration subject, I guess I would say I am fine as long as it stays with the MS-13 members. And even if it's limited to the 10 million that were brought in over the last 4 years, because that was done, that was an economic terrorist attack. Honestly, Biden should be in jail for terrorism because that's actually, I'm probably going to get my facts wrong, but I think it was a plan brought out by the Trilateral Commission or Club of Rome or one of those guys from the 70s. There was a economic plan that when they wanted to collapse a country, they would flood the border with millions and millions of immigrants all at once to collapse the economy. So it's an organized attack that people in government circles had planned years ago, and they did it right after Trump got in. So clearly they were doing it to destabilize the country.
Yeah, it's a tactic. That's why this border thing's been an issue for so many years. I mean, it's been like 40 years. It's been a political issue because they're waiting to turn their hand.
Yeah. Well, they basically, what it is these idiots have been stealing your purchasing power. They've been basically printing a bunch of money and buying a bunch of assets with that money and devaluing the dollar through inflation. And when the whole thing finally collapses, they want you to look at the immigrants, and then they're going to go, they did it. So you'll go fight them, and then they'll go fight you, and we'll have a big old nice race war. That's what it is. It's divide and conquer, because they've been stealing your money. Not the immigrants, the politicians.
They took our jibs.
They took our jibs. Yeah. Well, it's no, and I have some personal experience with this because I grew up, working in the chicken industry to varying capacities. And look, those chicken companies would ship in immigrants, and then they would ship them into these small towns where you had 8 people to a house or something like that. They weren't within walking distance to a city hall that could have given them the means to update their paperwork or whatever. So they were going to lose their green card status inside of a year, and everybody knew it except the immigrant because the immigrant wasn't told how the process works. In all probability. So they would ship all these people up here, and then they would let their paperwork expire, and then ICE would come in and deport 2,000 of them, or a large portion of them, so they could fluff their numbers, and nothing ever got accomplished. The chicken companies made a killing because they could drive down wages through that kind of third-party contract labor setup, and ICE made a killing because they got to look like they were doing something. And so everybody was benefiting except the farmer who lost the means to make money to buy a farm and the immigrant who had no idea what was going on. And yet the farmer and the immigrant were supposed to be fighting, but it was neither the farmer nor the immigrant's fault. It was the CEO of the chicken company's fault. And I won't be happy until those CEOs, those people that shipped these guys in, go to jail. But that's never going to happen because they're paying off the politicians. So...
What a mess.
What a mess. But we're supposed to be mad at the immigrants, guys. It's all the immigrants' fault. It's not these CEOs. It's not the people who built the infrastructure. I mean, a 30,000 person caravan is not organic. Who built it? Who are the NGOs that put it together? Why isn't Biden in jail? Why aren't the people who funded that caravan in jail? Why aren't the NGOs that helped them in jail? Like, so, I mean, fine, get rid of the 10 million that are here, but I'm not really going to care until the people that built the infrastructure are in prison. Because until that happens, the next time a Democrat gets in, this is just going to happen again.
Yeah.
And really, if the CEOs of these chicken companies and different groups can get enough power, it'll still happen again, even when a Republican is in office. So, anyway, that's my rant. That's my rant. So, yeah, I guess I'm fine with getting rid of the people that were brought in over the last 4 years, but I am a little nervous about what happens after that. Like, I don't want kids that were born here that have never been to Mexico shipped to Mexico. Like, I don't think that's fair. That's kind of punishing the kid for the sins of the father, and I don't agree with that.
Or the grandfather at this point.
Or the grandfather at this point, yeah, because some of them have been illegal for probably multiple generations by now. So, I don't think that's right.
I know a lady that lives in town. Her and her husband ran from whatever they were running from, and she's now a great grandma.
Yeah, and that is another complicated thing about this, because I think it was back in 2006, a lot of people ran up here because the cartels took over Mexico. And guess who funded the cartels? The CIA. So
Weird.
Good luck.
Weird. I can't believe it. The CIA?
Yeah.
No.
What? It's like they're in everything all the time. So
The three-letter company of the world.
And so good luck for immigrants in that situation getting asylum status when the CIA herded them up here like cattle to begin with. Yeah. So it's just a mess. But we don't want to admit that our government is doing this, so we just blame the immigrants because they're the lowest rung on the ladder. So while I'm fine with getting rid of the people that have been brought in here over the last 4 years, because that's part of an economic attack, that's not really the problem. The problem is, and usually is, our government.
Yeah.
Anyway. So somebody else talk, because I'm out of breath.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
That's fine.
Are we still talking about the Pope?
Oh, that's right. We were talking about faith, weren't we? Goodness gracious. We forgot what kind of show we were for a second.
Yeah, just hit play, I guess.
It always ends up with CIA, man. Is the CIA in charge of the Vatican? Is that what's going on here?
Maybe.
The
It wouldn't surprise me. It's the CIA all the time. You show me an ink block test, I'm going to scream CIA. That's all.
CIP.
The Pope rips his masks off and it's Cash Patel.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Edward Snowden. Yeah.
Edward Snowden.
That was NSA, but never mind.
Yeah, I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids. Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right, moving on back to these guys.
Seems to have promoted a lot of ideas regarding mass migration, which is a part of the controlled collapse of culture. Now, Pope Leo the 14th spent years retweeting criticisms of Trump policies, which again does not make him left or right. But some things do. And again, part of the paradigm, I have to get through this part. I'm sorry, you guys, if you aren't interested in this yet, that you have to get through this part. I have more important things to get into in this video. But just to make it clear, he seems to be more on the left. Big deal. I mean, these days, we can't expect a traditional guy to get in. He was a big supporter of Francis, who promoted the LGBTQ drag queen tranny insanity. Mike Cernovich says on X, Sorry, Catholics, this new pope is an open borders globalist. He will be pushing for abortion soon. This isn't a guess. You can scroll his X account and see what he's been up to, and you can see what he's retweeted regarding a lot of this.
Does he make laws or anything?
You know, criticism of Trump.
The Pope?
He has the authority of God for the Catholic Church. Like, he gets to say what.
Yeah, but what does that
morality is.
mean?
It means that if he tells you to worship Gaia, that's just as good as the Bible.
Right, but what does that mean in reality?
As far as like positional stuff. Well, in
as
reality,
far as like law.
I don't know how it like manifests from a practical standpoint. I'm assuming he tells the Vatican tells the bishops, and the bishops tell the priest. Like, I know that they coordinate their sermons and they coordinate their messages, and that kind of comes from the Vatican.
Yeah.
And that does
just
branch
people
out.
are worried about his politics. Well, why? He just has no control over politics.
That's why I didn't want to talk about this story, actually, because it really doesn't make any difference. Like, basically, the moral of the story is meet the new pope. It's the same as the old pope. The end.
The end. Yeah.
But
I mean, he has
number
he has
14.
no actual authority.
well, not for us. I'm Protestant, and yeah, so that's
He only
why we
has
left.
authority over people who place themselves under his jurisdiction. Like,
Yeah,
it's like
there's
like an
voluntary.
idol.
like who
Yeah.
would like I go back. I mean, I like Mushroom's point a lot. It's the remnants of Rome. Imagine the coronation of an emperor. I think there's a lot of like truth to that. Actually, I think there's a lot of like just hero worship. It's like mascot worship. You know what I mean? It's like screaming for your mascot at a football game. And I don't understand that when it comes to, you know, like, you should be that excited about God, not your symbolic figure, you know?
I mean, that's what it means when it says give the glory to God, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, I don't know what we accomplished besides a rant on immigration, but this is the end of part 1. If you're on the live stream... If you're on the live stream, we're moving on to part 2. If you are, so stay with us because we're going to be leading into that here in a second. And if you are watching this after the fact, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith, Fiction, and Folklore. If you did, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Rumble. We can also be found on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Thank you again very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.